Sunny Hostin and Meghan McCain. Now, let's get things started.
Whoopi is still out. Yeah. She's still out, but she's getting better. She's getting better. You know, she had double pneumonia. Double pneumonia is not a joke. Yeah. And it takes a while to recover from that. So we know you're watching. We think you're watching. Maybe. So come back soon. Okay, so Democrats, they're finally getting some power back, and what do? They start a civil war in their own party. Democratic lawmakers are split on whether to vote on a measure denouncing anti-Semitism after freshman Congresswoman Ilhan Omar was accused of using anti-Semitic tropes. Her supporters say it's an unnecessary resolution that unfairly targets Omar herself. But her detractors say the rise of anti-Semitism cannot be tolerated in any form. Okay. So, do we need a resolution that says that? Isn't it a given at this point? And why are they fighting with each other when there are so many other things to worry about right now?
It's a good question.
And are they throwing the thing over to Trump in 2020? It's very annoying and scary, and I don't like it.
It's sad that we even need a resolution for this, and frankly, a bad look that we can't even get something like that passed. I'm not going to get into the details. Meghan, I know you know far more about this than I do. But I personally feel for Nancy Pelosi because I think she's in a position similar. It reminds me to John Boehner. Remember when the Tea Party came in? And she cares, I think, about the future of the Democratic Party. Of course she does. And she's savvy enough to know that some of these more extreme voices in her party rightfully won their election, but the things that they say are so out of step with the majority of where the country is. So how do you balance that, but make sure that the party doesn't lose their soul and connect with the American people and are successful in 2020? Nancy Pelosi, I don't envy her right now, but she's in a place where she's going to have to try and wrangle them. But also, don't tweet publicly. Why not get behind closed doors?
Why, is Nancy tweeting?
I feel like the Democrats are all tweeting out their frustrations publicly.
That's Ilhan Omar's thing, is that she tweets all the time like Trump. And that's a mistake.
And AOC?
Yeah, she does
But
too.
why not handle it behind closed doors?
I think there's tweeting on both sides, right?
Yeah.
This issue is a really intense one for me, and just bear with me because I know, Sunny, you and I in particular don't always agree on this. And I want to say first and foremost, anti-Semitism shouldn't be a left or right issue. I don't think we should be politicizing it on either side because, as we know, if it's a tiki torch person in Charlottesville saying Jews will not replace us, or if it's we had Barry Weiss on to talk about sort of these more dog whistle moments that, in my view, Ilhan Omar is doing, and she, as of Saturday, hadn't been able to have gone 15 days without saying something anti-Semitic. What's interesting about this is that she is an up-and-coming rising star in the Democratic Party. She's on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine right now. She fits a lot of boxes that Democrats like. She is the first Somali elected member of Congress. She's the first woman, first of two Muslim women elected to Congress, and she's the first minority woman to serve from Minnesota. And the problem is right now is there's pressure to support her within the Democratic Party because identity politics and intersectionality is something that is important to Democrats. And I think at this specific moment, this is a watershed moment for Democrats. A lot of Jewish people in this country, I think, are being asked, with the rise of anti-Semitism in this country, is it more important to defend party politics or is it more important to defend anti-Semitism? And we can have conversations all day long about how you feel about Israeli politics. Yes, excuse me, if you object to it. We can have a conversation all day long about how you feel about Palestinian politics, how you feel about Israeli politics, how you feel about Netanyahu, but in the same way that I fear what's happening with Corbyn in the UK, I fear that it's seeping its way over here in the United States. And I just present this question, which may be an uncomfortable one. If what Ilhan Omar has been saying for the past few weeks were said by a white Republican male, how would you be reacting to it right now?
I mean, for me,
I object to it no matter who says it.
I'm asking the proverbial question.
The other thing that Why are they always concentrating on Israel is what I want to know. This is a little tiny place apart in the world. I mean, she's from Mogadishu. Does she object to things they do there? I'm assuming she does. And Yemen and Libya and Syria and all the hot spots all over the world. And yet this seems to be the focus of a lot of people around the world, including the UK and here. Israel. And why that particular country? It's very suspicious to me.
Can I say that I 100% agree with you on that? And I think that we should be talking about human rights violations globally, everywhere. In Iran, gay people can be thrown off of buildings for simply being gay. Women can't wear tank tops in the street without being stoned. There are human rights violations going around globally. And I agree with you. My question to Ilhan Omar is, why specifically this area of the world? Why specifically this group of people? And just putting a button on this, because I know you've let me filibuster. She is on a committee, a foreign relations committee, that will be in charge of what happens globally with our diplomacy. I'm uncomfortable with that in the same way that I was uncomfortable with Steve King being on that
Well,
as
to your question, Joy, I think we should talk about the comment that she made that has spurned all of this discussion, right?
There are many comments.
There are many comments, but the comment that she made that we're talking about, that the resolution has come from, she said, so for me, because she has apologized for the other comments, for two of the comments.
Well, she also had a lot of pressure to apologize.
But she did apologize. So the comment she said was, so for me, I want to talk about the political influence in this country that says it is okay for people to push for allegiance to a foreign country. And I want to ask, why is it okay for me to talk about the influence of the NRA, of fossil fuel industries, or big pharma, and not talk about a powerful lobby that is influencing policy? That's what she said. And people say that that is anti-Semitic. When we had Barry, no, let me just finish. When we had Barry Weiss on as an expert in what is anti-Semitic and what isn't, I asked her, is it okay to talk about Israel's policies and not be called anti-Semitic?
And she said yes.
And she said yes. She said where it crosses the line is when you say that Israel does not have the right to exist. That is when it crosses the line. Now, Omar has never suggested that Israel does not have the right to exist.
Can I say what she has said?
So, to me, it seems to me that Republicans are trying to use this as a wedge issue.
I'm really not.
And I think that...
Not you. She's not talking about you.
You know, this selective outrage is kind of crazy, because I don't think that the Republicans have moral high ground here.
But it seems like Democrats are upset
that Kevin
too, though.
McCarthy has used these anti-Semitic tropes. I think that Jim Jordan just recently, tweeted this
against Tom Steyer.
Remember that Ilhan Omar in the West Virginia Republican Party just had this huge poster superimposed with her face with 9/11 terrorists. And I haven't heard any outrage about that coming from the Republican Party. Is that this selective outrage, and I will tell you, I take this very personally as a woman of color who has, been the subject of so much bigotry. And what a lot of people don't know is that my grandfather is Jewish. He is a Sephardic Jew. And so I have, my family members have received a lot of bigotry. So, I've experienced firsthand in my family anti-Semitism and bigotry for being black. And so this whole, thing, I think it's just a distraction.
Are you comfortable with me speaking now? Are we comfortable with me rebutting now?
Yes.
Okay. So she also said Israel has hypnotized the world, suggested that Jews in Israel have bought U.S. politicians all about the Benjamins, implied that American Jews have divided loyalties, and it's okay for people to push allegiance to a foreign country. I again say, why this obsession with Jerusalem and Israel? Why this obsession with this specific area of the country? And as you've said many times, these are dog whistle comments for Jewish Americans.
Yes,
they are.
we agree.
And they hear what she's saying. And
she had to apologize for that.
But you have to admit, Megan, that it is disingenuous of the Republican Party to go after her. This is her point, when they are backing a president who is in bed with dictators committing human rights violations all over the world.
Traffics in bigotry. Traffics in bigotry.
Let's go there.
So just really quickly, since we're talking about I take this very personally. I would go so far as to say I probably verge on being a Zionist as well. But I will say that I don't have family that is Jewish, but Joe Lieberman and Hadassah Lieberman are my family.
Yeah.
And I take the hate crimes rising in this country incredibly seriously, and I think what's happening in Europe is really scary. And I'm sorry if I'm getting emotional, but
you're right.
The idea that this is politicized, I'm really not. I was very nervous to talk about this on the show because I thought it would become politicized, and it really shouldn't be. On both sides, it should be called out.
Right.
And just because I don't technically have Jewish family that are blood related to me, it doesn't mean I don't take this as seriously, and it is very dangerous. Very dangerous. And I think we all collectively as Americans on both sides, and what Ilhan Omar is saying is very scary to me, and it's very scary to a lot of people, and I don't think you have to be Jewish to recognize
You don't.
that.
And
You
I
don't have
just
to be
hope
Jewish.
instead of a resolution
To love Levy,
just from the
that's
Democrats, I'm tired of the selective outrage, and I hope that we have a joint resolution perhaps from Republicans and from the Democrats. I would be in favor of a joint resolution.
Okay. Speaking of joints, I wish I had one right now. Coming up, we're changing gears. Should Taylor, this is more important than anti-Semitism, right? Should Taylor Swift, no, I'm kidding. It's a joke. Should she be speaking out on politics? What do you think? We'll be right back.
Now is the time for strong women to speak out. And when these women come together, ooh, watch out, because we have our views.
If you want to change, get out and make it.
We have our voices.
Every single one of us who have a moral compass have to speak up and listen to women.
I'm a sharp-tongued woman and proud of it.
That's why when it's time to voice your view, this is where you come.
Breaking barriers is not easy, but it is worth it.
The only place in daytime taking it all on.
There's been a lot of healthy debate at this table. There are a lot of strong women around this table.
Proud of it.
You strong. Still ahead, Captain Marvel stars Brie Larson and Annette Bening. Plus, Fox News senior meteorologist and Meghan and Abby's pal, Janice Dean.
Okay, welcome back. As advertised, Taylor Swift is on the cover of Elle magazine, and she says now that she's turning 30, she feels informed enough to be more politically active and speak out on social issues to her 114 million followers. But will she be interrupted by Kanye West? That's the question. She obviously has a huge audience, but is she taking the risk of alienating a lot of them? You know, when they take a position, these music stars, like Dolly Parton has been discussed recently. Her sister wanted her to take positions, and she says, no, she doesn't want to do that. Should they? Should they? And what happens when they do that?
I think sometimes they get into a lot of trouble. I mean, I remember the Dixie Chicks getting into a significant amount of trouble. We had Dolly Parton on the show. She said she wants to be an entertainer first. She wants to be able to take people away from politics. Reba McEntire said the same thing, right? I want people to take away people from politics. Kid Rock, on the other hand, has been active politically.
Yes, I know.
We know. You know that, Joy. He's alienated some fans.
Me.
You.
He never did come on the show, did he?
No.
No, he didn't. And then Willie Nelson has been really supportive of Beto O'Rourke, and he's alienated some of his fans. So you take the chance of alienating
That's
people.
right. Dolly Parton's sister, I think, wanted her to speak out on the Me Too movement, and she had made that decision. I personally don't need to hear from Taylor Swift on politics. I love Taylor Swift. I love her music. I think she's an incredible performer.
Thank you. One clap.
Thank you. At the same time, though, I feel bad sometimes for celebrities because I think society puts too much pressure on them that if they don't speak, that they don't care about it. And then when they do speak, you're alienating half of your followers. It seems like Taylor Swift, though, similar to Lady Gaga, they started young and they're now to a place where they're like, you know what? I'm going to speak for myself now. I'm not going to let the industry do it for me. And I'm going to do
with her
She's been
music.
very active.
She has, but but Lady
She's
Gaga,
a big LGBT advocate.
yeah, but she talked about in the early years how, you know, she's now at a place where she's in control of her music. And she's the person that she wants to be. She's been very open about what she's been through over the years.
You know, in my generation, everybody was political. Pete Seeger and Bruce Springsteen and Joan Baez and
Bob Dylan.
And Bob Dylan and a lot of people. Everybody was political in my generation. It was what you did. And it seems to me, if you are enjoying the fruits of our democracy, you have an obligation to speak out when you see that there is injustice going on in this country, Yeah. You are a member of this country. You are every day enjoying the freedom that we have. So that when you keep quiet, you are really a collaborator in the evil, in my opinion.
That's what a lot of people feel back. That was a lot of criticism of Taylor was this, that she has a responsibility with her platform. I will say that all of us know every day, you know, Joey, you've been doing this 20 years, you divide people. There are places and spaces you and I and all of us will go into that we are unwelcome for what we say.
Yes.
And I think there are some people,
we all bond on that.
And I think there are some people that maybe just don't want to subject themselves to it. I couldn't even imagine not being political and not using my voice. And I think she took a longer time, but I think some women aren't like the women of The View, and it's okay. For me.
Sometimes I don't want to be like the women on The View.
But you know what I would say? You know what I'd say to you, Joy, though, is even just because they're not speaking out publicly doesn't mean they're not doing their duty privately.
You mean they talk in the mirror? Who cares?
No, it means that they can go and they can vote for things they're passionate about.
Oh, yeah, so
it means that they can handle things in their own way.
She's got 114 million followers. Come on.
That could be such a powerful platform.
Powerful position.
Yeah.
But I don't think she should feel pressured to do it, though, because...
I think she did.
But when you try to protect your pocketbook at the expense of your ethics, I don't find that an admirable quality.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't wake up in the morning and say, what does Taylor Swift think about what's going on in Washington?
I do. Every morning I think about it. Up next, this guy, I feel so bad about Alex Trebek, I have to say. He made a brave announcement, this poor guy. It's so upsetting, but we're going to talk about him when we come back. A little bit. The no makeup thing isn't working out for everybody. A lot of people are going out without makeup lately. I don't understand.
Talk about me.
Not you. Are you kidding me?
You guys know I never wear makeup unless I'm on the show. I don't.
She doesn't wear stitches.
I know, but we wear it on television. I don't even do the laundry without makeup.
Yeah.
And that's in my own house. But a woman, this is a good story. A woman posted on Reddit that her boyfriend left her after seeing her without makeup for the first time. She apparently had some acne, the girl, and so she would cover it with makeup. And then one day she took the makeup off, and he's like, no, I don't think so.
It's awful.
Isn't that a charming guy?
Well, first of all, she should thank him because you don't need that kind of guy in your life.
That's right.
And second of all, as all of you know, I mean, I have horrible acne, and I struggle with it. Oh yeah, I struggle with it all the time. I get really bad cystic acne, especially when I'm stressed out, and I somehow found a man to marry me. I know, miraculous. So it's not going to be the end of the world. And just what a jackass.
He's a jerk. I mean, I like to go to bed with a little something on. I like to look cute, you know, at all times. But man, he's seen me at my worst.
Yeah.
And
that's all right.
At a certain point, you're going to get sick, or you're going to... You know, something's going to happen where you're not going to look 100%.
Well, your looks go either way. When you're 90 years old, I mean, you can still be beautiful, but you look different than you do when you first met.
Have you seen my Nana?
She is gorgeous.
Yeah. She's 107.
Yeah,
great.
she does.
He really did. He did her a favor.
Yes.
He really did her a favor.
But the good news about getting older is that everybody kind of loses their eyesight a little bit. You know what I mean? Your eyes go. Not that you're blind, but, you know, my husband, he can't see without his glasses. But that's when I show up naked and without makeup.
This is a real problem, though, in social dating sites now, because you can post whatever photos you want, and you can edit them with the Kardashian app, with the small waist and the big butt, and then you meet someone for drinks, you're like, this is not the same person that I saw online. What do? You know, you really need to, I think, fully love that person with makeup, without makeup.
I agree.
You know,
you don't see it after a while. After a while, the person just gets, you know, is who he is. But, you know, I was talking about Alex Trebek, so let's talk about him for a minute, because the beloved host of Jeopardy, Alex Trebek, surprised a lot of people yesterday when he shared this with viewers. Take a look.
This week, I was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Now, normally, the prognosis for this is not very encouraging, but I'm going to fight this, and I'm going to keep working. And with the love and support of my family and friends, and with the help of your prayers also, I plan to beat the low survival rate statistics for this disease. Truth told, I have to, because under the terms of my contract, I have to host Jeopardy for 3 more years.
Bravo to him.
He's so lovely. You guys guys know I was on Jeopardy with Anna Navarro and Al Franken. They both beat the pants off of me. I was so devastated. My clicker wasn't like really working. I came in dead last, and when I say devastated, I was like a crazy person. And I was like kind of near tears. He was so lovely to me.
Yes.
He came up to me. He was like, I think it was your clicker. He knew it wasn't. And he was like hugging me. Yeah, I mean, he's a lovely person, and I just wish him all the best.
Yes.
We love him so much.
He's very brave, and we wish him the best.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Brie Larson and Annette Bening are saving the universe in the superhero blockbuster Captain Marvel. And they're landing at the Hot Topics table.
In the year 2019, women are stronger and more powerful than ever. And in their new movie, Captain Marvel, Brie Larson and Annette Bening are showing off some of that power by saving the entire universe. No biggie. Please welcome the fabulous Brie Larson and Annette Bening. To see you again, you ladies. I don't know, were you here before, right?
I have never
you
been
have
here.
not.
No,
I know
it's my
she
first
has been here many times.
Welcome.
Thank you.
What a powerful duo.
You're a powerful duo. Captain Marvel is the first Marvel movie that has a female superhero, right? And there she is. I mean, it's really a big deal. I just want to read this because of the premiere fans were dressed up as the character. And there was even a fighter jet flyover. I mean, that's a big deal.
I love that.
Yeah.
So how does it feel to be part of a big blockbuster like this?
Yeah, this is big. Yeah. The premiere just like kept going and going too. It was like the carpet went on forever. And I learned last night that I'm on a pineapple. I'm actually on like the Dole pineapple. Oh yeah, look at that. See, these are people. That's not a Dole pineapple. Those are Captain Marvel girls. Yeah, it's really cool. It's very surreal, to be honest.
What I love about this movie, it's not just about what's on the screen. It was sort of the environment behind the screen as well, just empowering women. They were all playing a big role.
Yeah. That's something that I'm been really impressed with Marvel is that they understand that in order to tell a story like this, we have to talk about like a more collective experience. So whether it's in front or behind the camera, because there's actually a lot of diversity on both, and they're still striving for more constantly. So it was a great environment to be on.
And actually, Brie, you started training to play Captain Marvel 9 months before because you wanted to do your own stunts, which I thought was really impressive, right? So you had this intense 4-hour daily gym routine, and by the end, I read that you could lift something like 400 pounds.
I could deadlift 225, yeah. Deadlift 225 and hip thrust 400.
That's crazy. I can't imagine. Now, is this true? I also read you could even push a Jeep up a hill.
Yeah, I pushed my trainer's Jeep.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine?
For 60 seconds, yeah.
But apparently you had an Achilles heel.
The cat.
The
yeah,
cat.
The
What
cat.
do you mean?
I have severe allergies, so it was like a joke on set that I would do these crazy stunts all day, you know, up in the air, like 50 feet up in the air, but then if the cat came on set, I was like wringing my hands.
Oh! But the cat had some sort of role.
Yeah,
in
the
movie,
cat plays
right?
a big part in this film, and he's really, really cute.
Yes. So.
And Brie, I also know that you met with real-life Air Force pilots. That's amazing. My sister-in-law's in the Air Force.
Oh, yeah?
What was that like?
It was incredible. I got to spend 2 days at the Nellis Air Force Base hanging with fighter pilots, and in particular getting to meet a lot of the women that are in the Air Force. And Kazi took me up in a plane. We got to simulate a dogfight, so we were on offense and defense. I puked a lot. The G's are no joke. I got to 6.5 G's, and I got a call sign, which is Sparrow.
Oh, Sparrow.
That is amazing. And Annette, you play a character called the Supreme Intelligence. Without spilling too much of the film, tell people about this character and the relationship that it has with Marvel.
Well, I play the Supreme Intelligence, and I'm like a godlike entity. And I meet her in the virtual chamber as she's preparing to go into battle.
We actually have a clip. Let's take a look.
Ooh.
Your commander insists that you're fit to serve. I am.
You struggle with your emotions, with your past which fuels them. You are just one victim of the Skrull expansion that has threatened our civilization for centuries. Imposters who silently infiltrate, then take over our planets. Horrors that you remember and so much that you do not.
I love that.
What a perfect voice for that role. But you really have to understand Marvel in this role. I heard you had to consult your kids.
I did. I had to swear them to secrecy, which they have respected, and I did. I got a sort of crash course from my kids because they're avid fans and they knew the whole background to it. And there's some things that I can't talk about that I can't talk about today, but that they were able to also explain to me.
Have they seen the film yet?
No. No, they haven't.
No. Brie, the movie takes place in the 90s, and it's so fun to catch all the references to the time period. Blockbuster Video, everybody remember that? AOL, pagers,
Yes,
pagers, I remember that. You actually got your start as a child actor in the 90s and comedy sketches for The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and we found one.
New Roadkill Easy Bake Oven. Just find your favorite roadkill, chop it up, add easy bake batter, and cook.
Thanks, Roadkill Easy Bake Oven.
Sorry.
So cute. Same person.
What do you think when you see something like that?
Well, I remember shooting that because I got a dressing room and they put my name on the door and it was like in a star, and I remember feeling like I had totally made it. That was like,
I mean, it's
little
an easy
did I
bake
know.
oven, you know, roadkill.
Roadkill Easy Bake Oven, yeah, great product.
Yeah, you know, Annette, you have had so many incredible movies from the time period in which this new movie is set. American Beauty, The Grifters, The American President, goes on and on. Do you have a favorite film from that time period?
Well, I'd have to say Bugsy, because that's when I met my husband.
Yes.
So that's certainly one of them. And it's a really good movie. I love that movie.
Yeah, it's incredible.
You two are such movie stars.
I know.
That last shot, that is like movie stars personified. Now, you've been together for 27 years, right? You're celebrating your 27th.
27 next week.
Wow. Oh my gosh, congratulations.
That was the secret. What's the secret?
Yeah.
Of being married to Warren Beatty.
There's no secret. I don't think there's any secret for any of us. Anybody who's married knows that. There's no secret, but certainly wanting the same things, I think, helps a lot. And that's true of us, so we stayed with that.
You want the same things, have things in common, too, right?
Yes, as well as 4 children.
The children.
Yeah, that helps.
That's true. Well, it's lovely to see you both again. Thanks to Brie Larson and Annette Bening. Captain Marvel will be in theaters and IMAX tomorrow. IMAX. Yeah. We'll be right back.
Up next, News meteorologist Janice Dean on how she fought back against sexual harassment from ex-Fox News chief Roger Ailes. Clapped back at body-shaming trolls.
Welcome back. All right, well, Megan and I were both lucky enough to have met Janice Dean at Fox News, and she shares just how strong, resilient, and hopeful she has been through some traumas that would test anyone in her new memoir, Mostly Sunny. Please welcome the wonderful and sunshiny Janice Dean.
I just have to take a moment because I'm enjoying the view. This is amazing. Listen, when I was in Canada, I'm originally from Ottawa, Canada, I had a show on radio called The Broad Perspective. I came up with the idea. It was 4 women talking about issues, and it was based on this show. So this is a full circle moment.
So we should give you credit for...
No, this was already in play. I was just stealing from you ladies.
Well, then it was after that that you really picked up your life and you came. We know you from Fox, but then you got your big break with Don Imus, of all people.
I did.
As an editor and entertainment reporter, you say it was the worst job that you've ever experienced because he was abusive to you. Whoa. What did he do?
It should have been my best job. It had everything I had ever learned in broadcasting. It had radio, it had television. I was writing the news. I was doing something called a scum report, which is like an entertainment report, with a huge name in broadcasting, Don Imus. And like I said, radio and television, it had everything I was good at, but it was the worst job of my career. He was very abusive to me from day one. I think I knew in the first week that I had to get out of the job.
Did he insult you? What did he do?
So if you listened, no, it was never physical.
Okay.
But if you listened to the radio when I was on with Don Imus, I was doing my job. I was funny and I had a quip for everything and I was playing along with the guys. I would come off air and I would cry on a daily basis. He was just abusive in that he would walk in a room and you were told not to look at him. If he addressed you, then you could address him. He would call me fat, stupid. If I made a mistake on his business report, I used to write his business report, he would call me out and say, "You're done. I'm not dealing with you for the next week." And everyone dealt with that, but I think he was more cruel to women. And I have since talked to women since this book came out that have worked with him, and there is a consensus there. Listen, and he has a family. I get that. I don't hate anyone, but now is the time to stand up. And it's taken me 16 years to finally say that was wrong behavior.
Yeah. And it wasn't just weight. You write about so much in this book, but there was one moment where you talk about the fact that Imus pointed a gun at one of his reporters' heads, and at one point named the bullets after people that he worked for, including you.
That's all the story I need to tell you, right? Is that he would take the bullets out of his loaded gun and name them after all of us. And I will have corroboration on this.
Psychological.
And he would show us the fact that he had his loaded gun. And there was one time where I was sitting at the news desk and he came out and he had it and he pointed it right at the head of the reporter, the traffic reporter. And it was like you were living this nightmare and everyone around you knew it. But they didn't do anything.
That seems to be the way things are going in this country. With R. Kelly and Michael Jackson, the presidency, everybody's doing these things right in your face and no one can do anything about it.
Well, they can't do it anymore. They can't do it anymore.
We're on them now. And so while you were working for Imus, a friend very nicely passed along your resume to Roger Ailes. Yes, over at Fox, which is when you guys met each other. And what happened with him? Because he had to leave in disgrace because he was sexually harassing people. Did he do that to you? What did he do?
I met him in the office first, and he was very charming and very kind. Saw me on Imus, made a comment like, you've got that kind of naughtiness. You know, because I was the good time girl on Imus. But I didn't think anything of it. And you have to realize I came from a job where a man was like pointing guns at someone. I needed to get out. I would have taken any job. And then the second meeting we had, he had requested I meet him at a hotel lobby.
Who, Roger?
Yes. I got a call from his secretary saying, meet at the Renaissance Times Square Hotel. He met me there. We sat down. He told me to order a drink. I ordered a wine. He ordered wine. And then he took my hand and put it in his hand and said, have you been thinking about me? How do you see me in your life? And I thought, this is a weird job interview. And I just thought maybe he was attracted to me, but I just said, well, I see you as a mentor, somebody I'd love to work for.
A grandfather figure.
I might not be here if I had said that, but so it was one of those moments where, look, my whole career I've dealt with some form of harassment, especially in broadcasting. Unfortunately, it's changing. There's been an earthquake, thank goodness. And then he called me before I got the job and said, hey, Janice Dean, how's Imus? And I said, oh, I can't wait to get out of this job. He said, well, I really like you. I want you to come work for Fox. But how are you at phone sex? And I laughed it off and I said, I'm terrible.
Just really quickly, you have dealt with so many things. MS, you were diagnosed with in 2005. There's a whole cacophony of adversities that you have faced and overcome. You are the brightest person I have ever met in my entire life. I adore you. You are my sister, and you have shown me what real strength in the face of real adversity is, and I want to thank you here today for that.
Listen, let me just say this. And I love you.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
Roger Ailes wasn't all bad. I went to work for him. I've been there 15 years. I love this company. It's a family to me.
Yeah.
They did the right thing, but he wasn't Darth Vader. And there are a lot of Roger Ailes, unfortunately, in this business.
But you know what? They're lucky that people like you stayed because you helped folks like Megan and myself.
Well,
Yep.
Janice Dean, we love you so much. Thank you for being here. All right, and of course, members of the audience are getting a copy of her book, Mostly Sunny, How I Learned to Keep Smiling Through the Rainiest Days. We'll be right back.
Okay. So anybody have anything to say before we go? We have 15 seconds. 14, 13. Have a great day, everyone. And take a little time to enjoy the view. Whoopi, come back.